the idea, first of all, of Orlando Brown hitting the open market.
What does that mean the Chiefs think of him?
See, he did not have a very good year.
I know. We had that from Wani the other day when Dave Wanstead was here.
Right.
Explaining the color coding system for the players and how Orlando Brown did not have a good year, even though you think of him as this franchise left tackle that must be kept.
Well, because he played on the franchise tag. Like the thought was that he was going to get franchise tagged for a second time.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was the reason, but apparently he didn't have a very good year. I mean, I didn't watch every snap of every Chiefs game, but they're on national TV 6 times over the course of the year. Plus, I follow enough Chiefs people on my timeline and watch every minute of those playoff games. He did not have a very impressive postseason.
Don't you think offensive line play is one of those things that it's really easy to be out of town stupid about?
Yes.
Because you have to break down the film or talk to the people who are breaking down the film and understand what the assignments were and who did what.
But it's why I kind of trust, just having worked there for 6 years, I still follow.
You got to go to those locals.
Chiefs bloggers, Chiefs radio hosts, Chiefs writers, or whatever. None of them are that worried about Orlando Brown leaving. Which should just tell you something. It
tells you that I don't really want to pay him at the top of the tackle free agent market this offseason.
Right. Also, I don't think that just because they're not franchise tagging him doesn't mean necessarily that he's leaving Kansas City. It makes it more likely. But they could say, hey, hit the open market.
See what you got.
Come back to us, and maybe he gets paid, less than a second franchise tag worth of money on an annual basis. But he still gets, I don't know, $15 million per year, $20 million. You know what I mean? Maybe he still gets a ton of money on a multi-year deal, and it ends up being in Kansas City, but it's $3 or $4 million per year less than the second franchise tag would have been, and they can spread out the cap hit a little bit. Where I come back to is if Ryan Poles can evaluate anybody in the world, he should be able to evaluate Orlando Brown Jr. He was in Kansas City. He was a former NFL offensive lineman. Mm-hmm. If there is one person he should make the correct read on, it should be this guy.
I have to give up my Skoronski dream, right?
Do you? I think you probably do.
I think I do. I think I do.
Good.
I mean,
that was short-lived. And now the floor for the Cubs is 72 wins.
You know what I could see?
What?
Is, Orlando Brown Jr. walks from Kansas City, and the Chiefs take their shot on Peter Skoronski to be their left tackle. Short arms, but the guy, it's in his DNA to be a left tackle.
All right, he's born for it.
With the 31st pick in the draft, the Kansas City Chiefs select Peter Skoronski.
You know what?
Speaks wanted him at 6.
That could be, so I don't get him at 6, but maybe I can get him at 21. Our Greg Gabriel was tweeting about Skoronski and the arms and said there's absolutely no chance that it can happen. And he said as soon as they measure the arms of Zach Martin, when Zach Martin came out of Notre Dame, he had 32.5-inch arms. The Cowboys promptly moved him inside to guard. So I expect similar from Skoronski. Where was Zach Martin drafted? 24, something like that, I think. First round.
Yeah, he was a first round pick.
Thing to note about Orlando Brown Jr., though, we consider him having his best game in the Super Bowl, right? It's a good day to have your best game.
Yep.
But also that Eagles pass rush, which was so good all year, generated nothing. Now we know the Chiefs line is good, but what do we know also about that game is the field. The field was horrendous. So I'm wondering, I hope that Ryan Poles does not put too much stock into that one game, even though obviously the results were there for Orlando Brown.
Yeah, no, that's a good point, because I said he didn't have a very good postseason, but obviously the whole line had a great Super Bowl. That Jaguars game, he got abused in that playoff game. He looked absolutely horrifying in that divisional round game. So Orlando Brown did. So you're right. The whole Chiefs offensive line looked good in the Super Bowl.
16th overall for Zach Martin in the first round. 2014, 16th overall pick. That's higher than you would think for a guard.
Higher than I would think. Thank you, Shane.
You just don't.
Offensive line guru, Shane.
I'm digging into the draft, me and Chris.
Yeah. Famously.
Previous drafts as well.
Yeah.
Depends on the day.